everyone, it's Latin Roses. Today I want to talk to you about the famous Dr. Wayne Dyer. He was famous for saying, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. And this is hard for a lot of us to understand what it means and to actually practice it. And I'm guilty of that too, but I want to try to help you understand what it means so that you guys can use it in your life and start creating the wonderful life that you want. So I'm going to explain to you how I use it in my life in just a second. But to kind of clarify what that means, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change, basically means is you have to view the world differently. So for example, if you need a car, or you need a new home, or you're looking for your special person in your life, and you're thinking, there's no way that could happen because you're watching the circumstances around you now, you're looking at your current reality now, and you're thinking, there's no way I can buy a car when I have no money in the bank, I'm broke, and maybe you don't even have a job. So because you're looking at the circumstances as they are now, you're having a tremendously difficult time trying to imagine that you could actually have a car, that you could own one, that you could have one, and because you're looking at the circumstances of your current reality, which is totally normal, and it's totally hard sometimes to separate ourselves out of reality and get into an imaginal state where we are living in the end as if we already have it. So you're not just seeing yourself as having a car, you're actually seeing yourself driving the car and owning it. So this is what I did. This is what helped me. I'm gonna tell a story to try to drive it home what this means and how to apply it to your life. So in my office a few years ago, there, like most offices, promotion potential comes around once in a blue moon. It's like throwing a piece of meat into a shark tank and it becomes like a feeding frenzy, and everybody's fighting for the position, and when you don't get it, you feel really hurt, you feel overlooked, and you don't think it's fair. And that's what happened to me. There was a position that opened up, I didn't get it, and I was so beyond disappointed. I was so angry. And a lot of people were coming up to me saying, that's not fair that you didn't get it because you were there the longest, you know more than a lot of us, and there's just a lot of favoritism going on. It's not fair. And I totally bought into that. I totally looked what was going on around me, and I just was accepting of that reality, and it really took me down to a dark place. But when I changed my thoughts, when I changed the way I looked at things, things started to change in a fantastic way. So shortly after that big disappointment, our receptionist was no longer there. Our receptionist also got promoted and was no longer there. So we needed to have the whole staff rotate out and work as a receptionist. So that required getting there early before our office opened and preparing everything that needed to be prepared. I told this story before in another video, but I think it's a really good story, and this is a clear example of how I used it. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Really does happen in that way. So I started getting there early, and I started getting all the paperwork ready to open up the front desk, and everyone started noticing, the whole staff. Everybody was noticing. And the staff that would come in later after me or would always show up late, they were always scrambling to try to hurry up and get things done. So some of them were asking me if I could help them since I was there early. Could I actually, help get them started? And sometimes I would, and sometimes I wouldn't, because I didn't think it was fair. I was like, I have a family too. I'm a single mom. I'm able to get here. Why can't you, right? I was very judgmental. I was very angry. But then one day I started noticing on the days that I didn't help those people that came in late, the people that we serve were suffering. Like, they had to wait longer, and with somebody frazzled behind the desk, and the judges were getting upset because their hearings weren't starting on time. And it was just a mess. So I decided that since I came in early anyway at that particular time, I would just go ahead and set up the desk and get it ready for the person that had to work that day. No matter if they were there before me or after, it didn't matter. I was always up there, first one there, got everything ready, addressed any issues that came up in the hearings with the judges, and things started running smoother and smoother. And the management started to notice, and everybody was noticing, and it was just snowballing into a beautiful, wonderful thing, and actually something changed. I was no longer focused on, okay, it's not fair that I didn't get promoted. It's not fair that these people are coming in late and they expect me to help them. But I was no longer thinking like that. It was getting to be a pleasure to serve the public. It was getting a pleasure to make sure everything was running smooth. I kind of took over that desk like it was my job to oversee it and manage it, and it just felt so good to help. And I started to change the way I looked at things. I started thinking, you know what? I have been here one of the longest. I do know what I'm doing. I'm very knowledgeable. And I no longer saw myself as a victim. I saw myself empowered, loving, and enjoying what I was doing, helping people. The more I served, the more happier I was. The more things ran smooth, the happier I became. And it just kind of snowballed, and the judges were noticing, management was noticing, the staff was noticing. I was getting a lot of compliments, and then I was actually offered a temporary promotion into another job. I did it. I was enjoying it, but I was thinking, you know what? Now that I've kind of been moving and growing, I don't really want to go back to what I was used to doing. And I would really like to stay with the promotion, but not even doing these duties. I wanted to do something totally different. So I started thinking about, what do I want to do? What kind of duties do I want to do? More analytical, more writing. And I was thinking, I was holding the stakes. I was like, I don't want to go back to what I was doing. I don't. I feel like I evolved, I outgrew it, and I just held this imaginal state that I am not going back to that position. I'm going to a better position, and I just saw myself doing a better, higher position. And next thing you know, literally, I would have to say literally a week later, it was announced at one of our staff meetings that this new position I was never, ever existed before in our agency was coming up. And the description of it sounded exactly like what I was thinking about. And I applied for it. I practiced my interview skills, I think, for like 2 or 3 weeks before the actual interview. Thousands of people applied because, like I said before, promotion potential positions don't come up very often. And I already knew it was mine. As soon as it was even spoken about in the office, I just felt like, man, I think I created this position. As crazy and woo-woo as that sounds to some of you, I really feel like I did, and to this day, I feel like I still did. And I nailed that interview, and I got the job. Out of thousands of people, hundreds of people, I got that job. And it was all because I changed my mindset. I no longer considered myself a victim of my reality, of circumstances, of favoritism. I let all that go, and I just focused on serving the public, doing my job the best that I could. In fact, being specialized in my position and being so good that, like Stephen Martin says, be so good that they can't ignore you. And in doing that, it helped me rise to where I wanted to go. And so I share this with you so that you can totally understand from my reality in the beginning was negative. I was saying it was a dead end, I was stuck, there was favoritism, there was nothing that could help me, to ignoring all that, pushing it aside, and just focusing on the task at hand and how to improve what was happening, and just caring about helping the public, helping my fellow coworkers, and just serve. And it was so much pleasure to serve that it actually took me to where I needed to be. When I changed the way I looked at things, the things around me changed, and it really worked for me. And I'm sharing the story so maybe it can work for you. And if you have similar successful stories like that, please share them in the comments below. I love to hear from you guys. And we're a community that helps each other. And you guys respond to each other sometimes in the comments, and we all help each other. So leave your comments below. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to stay in touch, subscribe. And as always, I wish you love, peace, and joy.